very, very happy to introduce Renata Delaney to share with us some great tips about teaching on Instagram. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat window or go off of mute and ask your question. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Renata. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you very much, Melanie. I'm really pleased to be here today for this great cause. I think it's just a great opportunity to share a bit of love, share a bit of expertise, and yeah, I feel like we're doing something to help others in this really difficult time. So I've been working online for quite a while. And on one hand, I'm quite pleased that everyone's kind of in the same boat now because it's like, welcome to my life, everyone. I live in this box. I've been working online for a long time. So, and of course, on the other hand, it's really sad because we know a lot of people are suffering and there's a lot of bad stuff happening. But I try to always look at the good side of things, and I think yeah, we all have an invitation to change, to improve, and to do the best we can with what we've got. And I think that's the spirit today. So I'm really happy to be here. Thank you. So yeah, I'm just gonna start. I don't know, can you hear the sound that I'm gonna play? Just testing.
Yep, good tune.
So yeah, I always start with this song because especially for teachers and companies, I think social media started like, something that was for children, for teenagers, something that's not to be taken seriously. And I think now more than ever, things are starting to change, and maybe people are still a bit fearful of joining social media, but at the same time, people may be fearing, missing out. So hence the title of the talk, FOMO or FOGI. So fear of missing out or fear of joining in. Is anyone in either category here today? Can you just please write either FOMO or FOGI in the chat? Always FOMO, both. Okay, a bit of everything. Yeah, it's tough because it's a new way to communicate. It's a new way to see things, and I think it's important for us to start to understand this. So before I dig in, I'm going to just give you a little bit of context to this. I think there are three things that we can think about in terms of social media. So you can either develop your personal branding. That's a good way of looking at it, especially nowadays. I think a lot of people have thought, well, if I cannot be in the real world, where am I in the online space? So social media is a good way to develop that personal branding. It's also a great way to develop professionally, because you will have to learn a lot of skills that you had never thought about before, like, obviously Zoom now, or even other video conferencing software, other ways to create content, and a number of different things that are related to being online and what it means and how to do this. And of course for business. So like I said at the beginning, maybe it used to be something for kids, or it used to be something, for social purposes, but it's become heavily business oriented, and there are opportunities. And I think I'm always, pro opportunity. And I think that's one of the great things about social media as well. It's become a democratic space for people to just create their own businesses, and that's awesome, I think. So a bit of background about myself, for the ones who don't know me. done quite a bit of things. These days, I am running English This Way, which is part of Learn This Way, which is my company. So Learn This Way does consultancy, teacher training, online teaching for students, online teacher training, a number of things. Because of creating my own company, I became an instructional designer. So basically learning how to design online content and how to design courses online. And because of that, I became Unity's. So Unity is a company, a gaming company, and we work with basically creating, enabling creators in the world to do all sorts of things, not just gaming. There's construction, engineering, architecture, so it's just huge. So basically, because of my work online, I have been able to expand a lot of my skills, and I think this is amazing, and I'd love to be sharing that with you guys today. So obviously not all because of social media, but it's one of the reasons. I think it's given me skills that I hadn't thought about before, and I think it's awesome to be able to share those things. I'm also a crazy skier. I love skiing. I love taking risks. I'm a ginger lover, so I've got a ginger husband and a ginger cat. So yeah, that's a bit about me. My qualifications on the left, but enough about me. Let's just talk about what is in it. If you think about social media. So what's the return of creating all this free content? So Eric Wallman says that the return on investment of social media is that your business. And when I read your business here, I read you, because if you're a solo teacher, or if you're a teacherpreneur, or if you are a private teacher, or if you're without a job, this is you. Your business is you. So the return of social media is that you will exist in 5 years. And that is from the What Happens in Vegas says on YouTube. And I think, yeah, someone said it's really powerful, and I think it is, because the world, I mean, if you had been struggling with how the world had been changing before the pandemic, I think now it's probably in everyone's faces, right? It's like, okay, now I have to be online. What do I do? Do I have a presence? Do I have a brand? Do I exist online? A lot of people still don't exist online. A lot of people don't even have an internet connection in the world, which is really sad. But at the same time, it's something to think about in terms of the future of teaching and learning. I mean, a lot of our students, a lot of teachers, especially the younger generation, not to generalize, but a lot of the younger generation, they're getting all their content from social media. And what I thought when I started English This Way was like, where are the professionals? Where are the authorities? Because social media is so democratic, we see, and we still see, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of Instagrammers who are not qualified. They study, they do their research, they do a lot. I mean, I think there are a lot of good people there who are not qualified. But I was feeling lonely. I was like, where are the professionals? We need to get people that know what they're talking about out there. We need, and I think slowly this has been happening, and I'm happier to see more people on social media. But I guess people, let's say from their mid-30s to, older, they're mostly on LinkedIn and Facebook still. People haven't gone to Instagram. And now the new hot topic, I mean, I should be talking about TikTok here today, really, but we're still talking about Instagram. Instagram is kind of old news already, but not really. Let's have a look at why not. So just look at the stats. Take 1 second to look at the stats. So 1 billion active accounts per month. So we're talking, I mean, people say, oh, I don't have any students. Where are my students? Yeah, they're on Instagram. So if you get 1 billion accounts being created per month, it's like, yeah, there are clients. There is business opportunity there. There's a lot of opportunity. And you may even, yeah, I've seen the comments. So that was my next point. You may catch yourself spending hours just like scrolling. And that was kind of my thing when I started, was like, hold on a second, I'm spending all this time here creating content for what? For nothing? Or just, so let me do something good about this. Let me try and do something with this that's gonna change other people's lives as well. Another quote that I really like by Brené Brown is that she says, so we know that the way to move information from your head to your heart is through your hands. So she talks about creation. And I think that's so powerful because us as teachers, we are creative beings. We like creating things. So why aren't there more teachers on social media creating things? And everyone has one of these days. I mean, not everyone, but again, most students have their phones in their hands 24/7. So maybe we're looking at the wrong place, thinking about classrooms, physical classrooms, thinking about, oh, they're not paying attention. Yeah, because they're there, they're on social media, they're on their phones, their lives are moving somewhere else. But also, there's a great power with creativity in a phone, I think. Most the content I create is, so for example, this background you can see here, the Zoom background, I created this with my phone. So most of my content on social media I create with my phone. So I think that that's something that's quite powerful as well. Okay, so how do we start? Everyone starts from scratch. So I know it's obvious, but I think it's important to say I started with 0 followers. I started with no one following me, and that's how everybody starts. And you just have to get this idea that you have to start big. And there are many, many other teachers that are so much bigger than my account. And then you also have to think about that numbers is not the most important thing. But at the same time, everybody starts with 0 followers. It doesn't matter which social media channel you choose. I'm talking specifically about Instagram, but you could choose to start following on LinkedIn. You could start, like I said, TikTok is the next thing. If you want to look at young learners, teenagers, maybe, yeah, start a TikTok account. But everybody starts from 0. So take that out of your mind. And then there's the whole shaming, self-shaming, excuses, all of this, you know, and I think social media filters now make it very easy for us to forget about, you know, all these excuses, if you like. Oh, I'm too old for this. Yeah, just put filter on. Look how pretty I am there with my mouse. You know, oh, what's the point of doing all this for free? I don't have time. You just really need to go past all these fears, all these things that we tell ourselves, and maybe try something new. Maybe you will find out it's not for you, or maybe you will find that something that you can incorporate with your business, with your teaching, with your life, and it's something that you might want to expand on or not. But I think it's a good idea to try because there are so many skills you can learn. So it's very simple to start. What do you need? Like I said, I do everything on my mobile phone. I just hate having the idea of like, because my creative process has to do a lot with what's going on around me. So I could be in the street taking pictures and, oh my God, that's going to be a post. Or I could be sat watching a film and then I hear maybe an expression I want to share with students. So I just write that in my phone. So it's very easy to do that on your phone, I think. A few apps, good lighting. So that's something that if you want quality, it's a good idea to think about lighting. Or if you don't want to think about lighting, just do things during daylight, which makes it easier. A bit of creativity and discipline. So we're going to talk a little bit about discipline a bit later on. Now, I came up with this instagogy kind of. So what's the method behind this? So the method is micro-learning. So we're looking at little bits of learning that we want to share with students, and we want to see how far that goes. So the higher the number of followers, the more you can see their response to your content. So on Instagram, for example, you can, if you have a business account, anyone can have a business account, by the way, it's just a switch of a button. You can have the statistics to see how people are engaging with your content, and you can see how many people liked it, how many people clicked on things. If you have more than 10,000 followers and you use a link on your stories, for example. And of course, you can collaborate with your students and have a different reach. So English This Way, my company, reaches over 50 countries nowadays. And that is because of social media. I'm not going to say it's because of anything else, because I'd be lying. And again, you learn a lot from creating content for social media and how to use these different tools. And you can remain young because you get to see what is happening, how younger people interact with these technologies. Right, so let's get some practical tips on what you can do with Instagram in terms of engagement. So one thing that's very obvious, you can create your own hashtag. So for a business, you obviously have got the hashtag on English This Way, but for students, you can get them to collaborate using the same hashtag so they can find each other's works. Change stories is another one, so I'm just going to demonstrate this through my account here. So I posted this, let's play, change stories, and then you give the instructions. So it's the classic old way of, remember when we folded paper, we wrote the beginning of the story and then passed it on, and the next person writes the next bit of the story. So instead of doing that, you just do this here, and then the students start writing their answers, or where they think the story goes. So it's a fun way of doing an activity on social media and getting everyone to participate. And of course, you can check who posted when, what time, how long it took them, and all that. Pictionary, which is a classic. So students can post parts of pictures related to a theme and then guess each other's posts in the comments. So instead of doing something live, and that's another question I hear from teachers all the time these days about, oh, I can't do everything in my live lessons, in my synchronous teaching. You can do this asynchronously in social media. So this is not even, you don't have to call it homework. You just say, oh, we're going to continue this conversation on Instagram, and then you're going to do this, and then you start that activity. And then students do that whenever they feel they're ready to do it. And then, of course, you have, people tagging each other so that they can see each other's work. And then peer feedback. So students can post a short text in stories, or they can tag each other to give and receive feedback. And you can do that privately as well. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So just a little example. So this was feedback. I asked students, so I was doing, in this example here, I had a course running on WhatsApp. So it was a WhatsApp group. And then I had different groups. And then I wanted the students to just give each other praise and comments on each other's participation here. So you have, Abdul, because he's interacting all the time, he's always encouraging other students and so on. So you've got students giving each other feedback on social media and really raising each other up, which I think is quite nice. And of course, now comes the time for an activity that I think could be engaging. So I'm going to ask everybody, I'm going to be a little bit bold now. I know we're all online here, and you can do whatever you want because I'm not going to see what you're doing, but I'm going to ask you to stand up. Still look at the screen. So please stand up. If you can, stand up. I'm going to stand up, practice what I preach. And then I'm going to share with you this, which is the champeta. So if you are American, or if you saw the Super Bowl, you could see that Shakira had the champeta challenge going. And we're going to do the champeta now very quickly. There's a quick tutorial. So if you're standing up, it's a good opportunity for you to move a little bit. and copy the tutorial. Let's just do that for a couple of minutes.
Siempre flexionada.
Okay.
En punta. Okay. Viene pateadita, pateadita, skip, pateadita, skip, pateadita, pateadita, skip. Exacto. Arriba y abajo. Porque yo no sé. Hacemos piso caliente.
Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Maybe you did it, maybe you didn't do it. You can try it later. Just look for the Champeta challenge, hashtag Champeta challenge, and you will see that this obviously went viral. That's another thing that you can do. Oh, I did it. It was amazing. I'm gonna do it. Okay, cool. So I'm just using this to illustrate that a challenge is a fun thing to do with your students. So you just create hashtag whatever challenge. So here for this purpose is the Champeta challenge for ELT. But you can just create any challenge and then get your students to do something and share that. And maybe it's going to go viral. We never know. I mean, there's no secret for something to go viral. Oh, I tried. Okay, Joe. Ooh, I want to see that. So maybe we can do that after this session. You can do your Champeta challenge for ELT, do the hashtag in the stories, and then share. We can see each other's little dance moves. So yeah, challenges are a great way to, it was very embarrassing. Well, nobody's looking, right? I mean, apart from you guys looking at my horrible dancing, but it's fine. I don't care. Anyway, strategies for growth. So how do we do this? You know, the usual quote, content is king is true in this case. So you need to post, 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 post. If you really want to grow your account. Nowadays, I don't post every day anymore because I've changed my strategy. But when I started, I was posting every single day. I used to look at the stats, to look at the times, to look at different ways of posting for different audiences. So the stats can really give you a lot of information. And again, it increases your interactivity with your audience, with other accounts. It's a good idea to tag other people because then they will tag you. So tag and you shall be tagged. And you can use all the different tools. You can use cross media if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a LinkedIn account, if you have a Facebook group. So I do a lot of Facebook groups for teachers, and I do a lot of cross media like that. And again, more challenges and call to actions. If you have more than 10,000 followers on Instagram, you can create a link to your either to your website or to your WhatsApp or whatever it is that you're doing, to create a call to action to bring people to your own private channel, which is super important. I'm going to talk about that in a bit.
Renata, this is Amy. I just want to do a quick time check. I think we only have a few more minutes, though your content is amazing, and I definitely hate to cut you off at all, but we do want to, if you can just take a few more minutes, that would be great.
Yeah, no worries. So in terms of strategies for growth, this is it. I think I'm just going to skip through the dangers of social media. So whatever you're going to do, check out the policy, make sure your students' accounts are private. If you want to create that kind of security, if you're working with young learners, and make sure you have a plan of how you're going to interact with your students. And then I'm just going to follow the, I think this is the last thing I wanted to share with you. Things have changed, like I said at the beginning. If you're not a millennial, you know social media isn't real, but just, think about how many phone calls you got on your last birthday. People are communicating in a new way. It's different. People are texting more. People are using this as a way to communicate. And sometimes that's the only way some people are communicating nowadays. So it's a good opportunity to learn something new. And then some best practices for mental health. I think just have a quick read. But I think boundaries is the most important thing. When you get sucked into social media, it's very important for you to create your boundaries, to make sure you pause your notifications when you need a break or at night. I have two devices. I have my work phone and I have my personal phone, so that I don't, keep looking at everything all the time. So you really need to draw the line to understand, to give yourself that kind of mental well-being, and sometimes take a break. Nobody will die if you don't post. So when you start posting a lot, it's very easy to get caught up. And yeah, don't worry, nobody will die. Thank you very much for listening, guys. If you have any questions, I'm very happy to take them now or later. You've got my handle at English This Way on Instagram, and I am Renata Delaney. And thank you very much again, Melanie and Amy, for allowing me to talk here today. Thank you so much, guys.
Amazing. That was so great. Thank you so much, Renata. And thanks everyone for participating and getting up to dance. I think I did 2 steps and I just sat back down and wonderful. Thank you all so much. We'll just take a quick break here before going on to our next presenter. While we transition over to her, I do just want to make a quick plug. If you are able to donate anything, money, time, any resources to your local food bank or these food bank charities, that would be great. Our goal is to hopefully use this forum to raise a little bit of money. And mea culpa, I haven't put my donations in yet, but I am definitely going to be doing that today.